This is New Zealand, a pleasant country. Within the area of our two main islands, an area slightly smaller than that of the United Kingdom, we're fortunate in enjoying a wide variety of scenery and natural resources. We've everything from snowfields to geysers. New Zealanders like the sun. We have a great many beaches and not too many people, so we enjoy our summer sports free from overcrowding. But crowds do gather, and they come together during the winter to watch rugby football. In sport, our first love. We've welcomed many touring teams. In 1956, the Springboks were our guests, and back in 1950, we had our last visit from the British Isles, here taking the field for the third test. Nothing, unless it's perhaps a race meeting, can make New Zealanders quite as excited as a rugby match, whether the game is between two primary schools or two international teams. In Wellington, as many as 60,000 may come to see an international test. Not a bad crowd for a city with a population of 140,000. Now, in June 1959, New Zealand meets the Lions at Auckland's Whenuapai Airport. They're looking for fresh meat after a short but successful tour of Australia. Team captain Ronnie Dawson carries the ever-present mascot, and four men who'll see much of each other over the next 3 months meet together for the first time. Cuff Hogg, Alf Wilson, Wilson Winneray and Ronnie Dawson. Winneray captained the All Blacks against Australia last year. Cuff Hogg is chairman of the New Zealand Rugby Football Union, and Alf Wilson, of course, the Lions manager. So the team is here, and the rugby world looks forward to an eventful tour. The visitors have their first good look at the countryside in Hawke's Bay, a province of sunshine, rolling farmlands and sheep. We take our sheep seriously in New Zealand. We have to. Along with the dairy industry, they provide most of the country's income. In Hawke's Bay, the Lions meet their first Kiwi, the bird variety, that is. These odd little birds can't fly, have very poor eyesight, and rarely move about during the day. Perhaps that's why our football teams wear a silver fern on their jerseys, not a Kiwi. The boys are obviously taken with the Kiwi, and this Kiwi is a very cute bird. Napier is the provincial centre of Hawke's Bay and typical of the towns up and down New Zealand which serve the farms. Typical too is Napier's interest in the Lions. The team wastes no time in getting acquainted with the local colour. Parnia, the young lady in bronze, was a Maori maiden. Dickie Jeeps and Ken Smith photograph her statue. Maori legend has it the living Parnia was transformed into a reef in Napier's harbour. Now the Lions fly south. Throughout the tour, Andy Mulligan and Tony O'Reilly provide a running commentary on events that never fails to amuse other members of the team. In this case, Rod Evans. Viscount aircraft shorten distances, and the journey from North Island to South Island is a brief one. Up here at 20,000 feet, the plane is flying above cloud, and there are the Marlborough Sounds, northernmost tip of the South Island, and a favourite summer haunt of yacht and launchmen. The Southern Alps are a great range of mountains running down the South Island like a spine. Grand country for skiers, this, and a man named Hillary learned to climb here. In the far southwest of the South Island, snowfields give way to rainforests. Largely uninhabited, these fjords are nonetheless popular with tourists. Here is native bush, untouched and silent, but for waterfalls and birds. Captain Cook, the great explorer, came here and named this Resolution Sound. After came the whalers and sealers to build stations on the lonely coast. They are long since gone. Inland over the mountains is Queenstown, a year-round tourist resort on the shores of Wakatipu, Maori for the Long Lake. The Lions are here for a day's sightseeing and with the first test in the offing, some training. Not for them the ski grounds. These people make it look easy, but the Lions are here to play rugby. This is grand fun, but far below the snowfields, under Queenstown's winter sun, the Lions have an afternoon workout. In 2 days' time, they'll meet the All Blacks in the first test match at Dunedin, New Zealand's little Edinburgh, and proud of it. Once in Dunedin, Ken Scotland can at last climb into his kilts and feel a real man again. Fair measures of Dunedin's fervour for things Scottish are the statue of Robert Burns and the fact that a man in kilts isn't stared at in the street. Any native of Edinburgh could feel at home in Dunedin, particularly in winter. The New Zealand team is training at Carisbrooke Park. Coach and chief selector Jim Sullivan talks to Wilson Winneray, who captains New Zealand throughout the series. The forwards are working well, and the ball is going out fast along the back line, without any opposition, of course. Fullback Don Clark knows what he's going to concentrate on. The Lions are taking things easy. Intensive training behind them, they keep in trim with a smaller ball. There seems to be more honest effort than results justify. 6 feet 5 inches of Reginald Marks obviously knows how to handle 2 feet 6 inches of golf club. The visitors are relaxing. This time tomorrow they'll be playing in more serious vein. People packed Dunedin's Carisbrooke Park for the first test, British Isles versus New Zealand. A few showers during the week haven't muddied up the ground. Ken Scotland kicks off for the British Isles and play has hardly settled down before a line-out infringement gives New Zealand the first of 21 penalties. The mighty boot of Don Clark, New Zealand's fullback, isn't quite up to this one, and the ball goes outside the posts. 10 minutes gone in the first spell and Scotland takes the Lions' first penalty kick at goal. But the ball finds Don Clark, who puts a long one downfield and into touch. During the first 20 minutes of play, the game seesaws up and down the field as the teams size each other up. It's not spectacular football. New Zealand's first score comes from a penalty given against a scrum infringement. This time Don Clark puts it over. New Zealand 3, British Isles 0. Scrums are tight with both packs pushing hard. Yet another penalty is awarded the All Blacks, and Don Clark seems to have really hit form. It's a goal, and New Zealand has 6 points on the board. But the score doesn't stay that way for long. A penalty to the Lions, Hewitt takes the kick and puts it over. 6-3. From a scrum, Urban has the ball, gets it out to Brown, who kicks high, and they follow it up. Murphy takes it for the Lions and gives it away to Price. 8 yards from the goal line and they're rucking hard. The ball scraped out to Urban and goes along to McMullen. McMullen's looking for a gap, but there isn't one. Again, Urban has the ball, gives it to Brown, who passes to Walsh, and Walsh is brought down. It's out to Brown again. There could be a score here. No, Brown was outside, drop out 25. From the scrums, both teams are getting their fair share of the ball. The Lions pack gets it here as the ball goes out to Jeeps. Risman has it now and gets it away to Price. Out it goes to the winger O'Reilly and he streaks for the line. The game's first try, 6-all. 4 minutes later the scene is set for the slickest try of the game as Jackson heads down the New Zealand line. Watch now as Price follows up to touch the ball and score. Here's the scene again in stop motion to show you how it was done. Price definitely presses the ball and makes the half-time score. British Isles 9, New Zealand 6. Nine minutes gone in the second half and the Lions are determined to keep their lead. New Zealand loses the ball to the British Isles. They race down the line and Jackson has it. Scored 12-6 in the Lions' favour. They're scrumming and Urban gets the ball. He passes to Lenine and the 5/8 kicks ahead. From the ruck, Urban's got it again. Out to Brown. He kicks ahead. It's right under the posts as Wood takes it. Penalty to New Zealand. Clark takes the kick and the All Blacks have the easiest points of the game. Lions 12, All Blacks 9. Watch how this movement develops as Don Clark joins the passing rush and Jackson brings him down. Urban has it, and the ball goes as far as McMullen, but Price is up there, takes it and kicks ahead. McPhail misses his opportunity, and Ken Scotland moves up, kicking the ball through. Price is over. A magnificent run ends with Risman's conversion, and the Lions have 17 points. Don Clark's great kicking of yet another penalty puts New Zealand only 5 points behind the Lions. The pace is fast and furious as they ruck. The All Blacks gain possession and Brown is brought down. The Lions kick ahead and Don Clark takes the ball. Down he goes, and it's a penalty to the British Isles. Clark was holding. Risman takes the kick, but can't put it over. Don Clark has the ball now and kicks well down the line, hoping to find touch. His long shot doesn't come off, and Jackson has it for the British Isles. He slips over, and they ruck. From the ruck, Winnery gets the ball to Urban, who tries to gain ground with his kick. The movement ends as Jeeps takes the ball and puts it into touch. From a British Isles infringement, New Zealand gets another penalty, and Clark brings the score to Lions 17, All Blacks 15. Another 2 minutes of play, with only 2 points difference in their scores. Both teams are playing hard. The All Blacks can't cross the Lions goal line, and excitement mounts as another penalty is awarded to New Zealand. This is the decisive kick, and Don Clark takes it from 30 yards. For the 6th time, he proves his worth, and the game ends, New Zealand 18, British Isles 17. The Lions have shown themselves a well-knit team, and New Zealand has won a narrow victory by Clark's powerful kicking. Don Clark's highly accurate kicking of 6 penalty goals won the first test for New Zealand. In slow motion, he demonstrates his place-kicking technique, the technique that has youngsters from one end of New Zealand to the other, placing the ball straight up and down. A careful sighting, a last-minute touch to the ball, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paces back. Clark begins his run slowly. He uses a timed stab kick and doesn't employ the classic follow-through. And with Clark, this short kicking pays off. The Lions are continuing their tour of the South Island, making for the west coast, where most of New Zealand's coal is mined. The coast has a rip-roaring history and a reputation for hard living that persists even today. The tiny village of Culverden is last stop for the visitors before they reach the west coast proper, and the people turn out in force to say hello. Enthusiasm for rugby is a national characteristic, and one that shows itself at a very early age. Malcolm Thomas was here with the Lions in 1950. This clamour for autographs is nothing new to him, and by now the rest of the team are growing used to it and signing with a flourish. Down through the native bush, and the Lions are on the west coast. 15 years after the California gold rush of 1849, the west coast of New Zealand had a gold rush of its own. From all over the world, diggers flocked to the coast, and as long as the gold lasted, the west coast boomed. That was long ago, and now a couple of ponderous dredges scrape out what gold is left in the rivers. The dredge Carneri digs up about 15,000 pounds worth in a good month. But gold, in no matter what quantity, is still gold, and its recovery is a fascinating business to most people. It's not every day you can put your fingers in a pan and poke the stuff around. For the time being, it's goodbye to the South Island as the Lions fly north for the second test in Wellington. Below are the wheat and sheep farms and pine plantations of the Canterbury Plains. Range upon range of mountains stretch away across the island. The snow lies behind, and soon the southern coastline gives way to the narrow strait that separates our two islands. Here at the bottom of the North Island is Wellington, clustered around a magnificent harbour. The character of this city lies in its hills, the houses perched on one another, seemingly in danger of falling into the sea. As New Zealand's capital, Wellington houses all sorts of government offices. At Parliament Buildings, standing just above the city, the Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Walter Nash, is host at a reception for the Lions. The boys waste no time in sampling the oysters, which New Zealanders claim grow bigger and better here than anywhere else in the world. Leader of the opposition, the Right Honourable Keith Holyoake, talks football to Cuth Hogg, and the food disappears at an alarming rate. While in Wellington, team members visit schools and find themselves lionised by teachers, parents and pupils alike. Gordon Wood, Hugh MacLeod and Dickie Jeeps are watched by admiring pupils, one of whom makes no secret of her affections, as they give the school's 3 football teams some first-class instruction. You see, rugby enthusiasm does start young. The boys are listening as MacLeod tells of his hopes for the second test tomorrow, and whatever he's saying, they're certainly lapping it up. Everyone expects to see a good game, and a few hundred people make sure they're at the ground early, 18 hours early in fact. There's not much real sleep to be had, but then no one expects to sleep. Staying out all night is just part of the fun.
Athletic Park Wellington holds its biggest crowd ever. Almost 60,000 people are watching Wilson Winneray and Ronnie Dawson lead their teams onto the field for the second rugby test, British Isles versus New Zealand. It's a perfect day and the ground is firm as Davis kicks off for the British Isles. It's a long high kick and Dyack takes it. He recovers ground for New Zealand by putting the ball into touch well downfield. In an early line-out, Dyack throws in for the All Blacks and the ball is buried as they ruck. Out it comes and Briscoe almost has it, but he's brought down. The ball is found by Winneray, goes out to Lenine, and Lenine is on his way. He kicks ahead and for the Lions, Young races after it. McMullen is trying hard there, but Young carries the ball over. Scrum, 5 yards. The All Blacks are throwing the ball round and playing an open game, but it's not getting away from the lineouts. Play moves upfield and the New Zealand back line is on the attack. Colton picks up the ball and scores. The try is not converted and the score stands at British Isles 0, New Zealand 3. Minutes later the ball comes out. McCulloch gets it to Colton. The wing 3/4 does it again. British Isles. McMullen has the ball for New Zealand. The British 3/4 Patterson brings him down. Jeeps has it, gives it to Patterson, but he can't hold it. Hill picks up the ball and Ashcroft brings him down. Meads has it to Briscoe, to McCulloch, to Don Clark, to McMullen, and Colton is brought down and the ball goes along to McCulloch. The movement ends with the ball going into touch. For the Lions, halfback Jeeps puts the ball in and takes it out again. Price can't hold it. McCulloch comes down. Conway gets it and Jeeps gets Conway. Hill takes it, but he's tackled. McEwen comes charging through, kicking ahead. They're racing. Something could happen here. But no, come on back, boys, you've been wasting your time. The whistle blew long ago. Play gets underway again and the ball goes out to Lenine. There's a sudden reverse in action as Young retrieves the ball and streaks away. Clark stumbles Young and Conway completes the tackle. It goes ahead to McCulloch and into touch. Briscoe is running hard with the ball. He kicks as Young brings him down. Price races for it. Lenine's up there and knocks the ball on in goal. Half-time finds both teams glad of a breather. Wellington's weather is amazingly kind today and the score stands at 6-0 in New Zealand's favour. The ball is kicked towards New Zealand's goal line and full-back Clark finds it. He also finds that he's on his own. Jeeps has the ball now, passes to Price, who kicks ahead. O'Reilly and Dyack both show their sprinting form as they race for it. The ball is picked up by Don Clark and left-footed downfield. Both packs are pushing hard and struggling for openings as Briscoe gets the ball. He miskicks and it goes to O'Reilly. O'Reilly kicks ahead. Don Clark obstructs him and the Lions are awarded a penalty. Davis takes the kick. The British Isles have their first 3 points on the board. British Isles 3, New Zealand 6. From a line out, the ball travels as far as Malcolm Thomas, but he fumbles it. Conway begins a movement. To McCulloch. To Meads. A high one to Webb. And a high one to Dyack. Tremaine makes a bid for it, but Davis is there and touches the ball down. And now the play moves right up to the other end of the field on New Zealand's line, and the British backs look for an opening. Young takes an awkward pass. It's a try. Davis's conversion gives the British Isles a 2-point lead. The score is 8-6 in their favour and time is running out. The All Blacks are playing hard football and gaining ground. Lenine tries to break through, passes to Webb, who's pushed into touch. Out from the scrum to Briscoe, to McCulloch, to Don Clark. McCulloch has the ball again and kicks ahead. Jeep saves it beautifully for the Lions and kicks into touch. Only 3 minutes to go and the All Blacks are pushing as they've never pushed before. It's now or never if the home team are to win this second test. And here's their opportunity as Don Clark joins the back line as extra man. The ball is fed out. He sees an opening. He's over. Wales 8, New Zealand 9. Here's a sideline repeat view of Clark's winning try. Watch his dive. Carefully, Clark places the ball for his conversion kick. It's all over, and New Zealand have won the second test by 11 points to 8. Today, both teams have played grand international rugby. A happy crowd streams across the field, and as one well-known rugby fan said, "Look at me, Ma, I'm in the pictures."
30 miles north of Wellington, some of the team are taking an interest in things rural and calling on a sheep farm. The Lions are travelling up the North Island by road, and Buster Pickering welcomes them to Awatere Farm. This pleasant place overlooks the sea, and now we're seeing the most important thing in farming, the grass that feeds our sheep and cattle. Grasslands research and improvement is something in which this country has played a big part. The most fleet-footed lamb can rarely show a clean pair of heels to an experienced shepherd, and shepherds don't carry a crook for nothing. Rhys Williams at 16 stone 4 meets A. Lamb at something under 10 pounds. The encounter is friendly and both seem happy to have made one another's acquaintance. There can be no doubts about the breeding of this lamb. He's so polite he even stops to say goodbye before running off to tell Mother how gentle was his meeting with the lion. A few miles from Awatere is the Levin Butter Factory, one of the cooperative enterprises which are run by groups of farmers all over New Zealand. Every day the cream comes in and every day the butter comes out. Cheese factories operate in the same way, and nearly all our butter and cheese goes to the United Kingdom. Bear Brisman finds the stuff to his liking, and the lads watch the next step in preparation as the golden butter is run out of the churn and readied for packing. Not much effort is needed to cut through blocks of butter, but a box of butter, well, as Peter Jackson finds out, that needs a stronger hand. When they arrive in New Plymouth, the visitors are right in the heart of one of New Zealand's great dairying centres. Every city in the country takes a real interest in the touring side. Everyone wants to see what these lions look like, and on the balcony of their hotel, the team is welcomed to New Plymouth by the mayor. Surrounded by farmland, the white cone of Mount Egmont towers over the plains. Waitomo is one of New Zealand's famous places. Here, the tourist hotel welcomes visitors of every kind, royalty and football teams included, who come to see the glowworm caves. Beneath the earth, a labyrinth of tunnels runs eerily for miles. Nowhere else in the world is such a sight as this. Visitors glide by boat on an underground river, under a vault alive with glowworm lights. Beyond stretch the caverns with their limestone formations growing so slowly that no man in his lifetime can see the gradual change. But our world is above, the world of people and places. The Governor-General of New Zealand, Lord Cobham, meets the teams before kick-off. During the tour, the place-kicking of Ken Scotland intrigues the crowds. His almost semicircular run at the ball gets results on many occasions, and in this game he scores 9 of the Lions' 25 points. The Lions' back line speed and skill in handling delights the crowd. Any suggestion that the Lions' forward pack lacks drive is answered in this slow motion scene as they break in support, and when the ball is kicked ahead, they're up on it smartly, driving solidly towards University's goal line. The front row prop Wood has the ball and literally bulldozes his way over the line to score. The Lions prove themselves particularly adept at getting the ball from loose rucks. In practically every movement, almost magical sleight of hand and footwork confuses the defence. Individual bursts of speed distinguish play, and Price scores after such a run. Supporting players move quickly into position as a break is made, and by waiting until the last possible moment before passing, the other backs give O'Reilly the opportunity to score. The Lions are capable of starting a classic scoring movement from the line-out. The wing three-quarter draws the defence out of play, giving as clear a run as possible to the scorer, in this case, Price. In the last 15 minutes of the game, the University's team uses British Isles tactics to bring its back line into play. University's wing three-quarter Dyack changes direction to good effect and crosses the line. Dyack's second try is scored in the same way. At game's end, the score is British Isles 25, University's 13. "22,000 people came to see this game, a measure of rugby's popularity in country districts. The ground is slippery and play is loose. A Waikato back movement fails to penetrate the Lions' defence, largely due to lack of speed and the successful combined covering play of the defenders. The attempted clearing kick fails this time. However, the British Isles forwards rally and check the threat to their goal line. In the scrums, the visitors have first-class control, and the scrum half shows good speed in getting the ball away. The incisive clearing kick is a feature of the Lions' play. This scrum is typical of the bustling forward game as played in New Zealand. An unusual event and a rare thing in rugby is seen as Morgan, held back by Don Clark, is awarded a penalty try. This long movement is an example of attack and counter-attack, and the loose play that distinguishes this match. Waikato are bustling the Lions. After gaining possession, the Lions press their advantage and a well-placed kick catches fullback Don Clark out of position. This technique was exploited throughout the tour. Play is set to move round in the full circle as Waikato attack once more. The movement ends as the ball is kicked into touch. Young goes over for the last try, making the final score Lions 14, Waikato 0. As in the match against Waikato, the Lions push strongly in the scrums. A drop pass shows the Maoris' speed as they move quickly onto the ball. Loose forward play is similar to that in the game we've just seen. Terry Davis attempts a penalty kick at goal, and the Maoris exploit his miss by taking a quick drop out 25. The ball is well taken by the Lions, and as in the Universities game, clever feinting and change of direction throws the home team off balance. On this hard ground, the awkward bounce of the ball worries the Maoris, and the Lions have played themselves into a scoring position. No tries are awarded in this game. As Scotland goes over the line, the referee is behind him and rules a knock-on in goal. Here is Scotland's attempted score again. Terry Davis plays well at fullback. His fine kicking of 2 penalty goals gives the Lions 6 of their 9 points. A feature of the visitors' play is their centre field running and the continual use of dummy passing and scissors movements. Both teams are throwing the ball about, and here quick thinking gets it away to the British backs, who begin a long run. They take play right down to the Maoris' goal line, where the ball is ruled out of touch. The game ends British Isles 9, Maoris 6. These excerpts have shown the Lions' fast backline work, their driving forward play, and loose movements marked by individual efforts. A combination that adds up to first-class attacking rugby. At Wairaki Hotel in the North Island thermal region, the International Rugby Board, the committee that makes the rule British Isles for the first time. 8 members are from the 4 home unions, the other 6 represent Australia, New Zealand and South Africa. To New Zealanders, the most familiar visitor is Dr. Dani Craven, who takes time off with other board members to look around Wairaki's geothermal scheme. Driven deep in the earth, bores harness the natural power that makes geysers and boils mud. The roaring steam is piped a couple of miles to a powerhouse where it turns the turbines. This system should do wonders for the electric power supply, and the source of power can't be exhausted. With any luck, Wairaki's generators will be turning forever. Waikato is one of the most prosperous of North Island provinces. It also produces good footballers. Ian Clark, who played in the first test, and his brother Don, New Zealand's fullback, combined successful farming with successful rugby. Don and Ian work with their father. They have 4 brothers, so the farm has no labour problems at all. After the stock has been looked after, Sundays are good days for practice and talking over what happened in Saturday's game. For Mr. and Mrs. Clark, it's a different story. All their 6 sons play rugby, and this must be the most jersey-laden washing line in New Zealand. Hamilton City turns on what it calls a Mulu parade for the visiting lions. In this country there are some strange creatures. The Kiwi bird, which is real, and a Waikato cow named Mulu, which isn't. Mulu is not only the most ferocious cow in New Zealand, she's one of the symbols of provincial rugby competition. Waikato loves its football, and it loves to make a fuss of visitors who always enjoy the fun. To round things off, an eccentric top dressing plant sprays the crowd with Mulu dust. The third test is only a few days away, and for the second and last time the Lions fly south. Now the city of Christchurch, as proud of its English heritage as Dunedin is of its Scottish. There's Lancaster Park, where the test will be played. The banks and stands will be packed full on Saturday. Christchurch is a flat city, something that vaguely discomforts visitors from hilly Wellington, and the spire of its cathedral can be seen for miles. The character of Christchurch is said to be conservative, and perhaps it is, but not when there's a test match on.
Saturday morning, August the 29th, 1959. And the rugby fans are queuing outside Lancaster Park, Christchurch, to see New Zealand play the British Isles in the third test. The long wait doesn't seem to bother anybody. It's a brilliant sunny day and the crowd couldn't be more contented. Nearly 60,000 people are here. When the park is full, what a sight they make. Ken Scotland kicks off for the British Isles on a ground that's really hard. The kick is high and long and fullback Clark takes it for New Zealand, puts his boot to the ball and finds touch near halfway. O'Reilly throws in for the Lions and they jump for it. McEwen takes the ball, they ruck and Urban has it. He moves round Dawson and loses possession. McMillan throws in for New Zealand just inside the Lions' 25. It's a long one and the ball goes out to Jeeps. He gives it to O'Reilly and the British winger is heading down the line. O'Reilly kicks ahead. Don Clark has it and puts the ball into touch. On the far side, Colton throws in for New Zealand. Not straight, says the referee, there'll be a scrum. Both packs are pushing for the ball. It's a tight head to New Zealand, out to Urban, Colton's there and goes over to score. 14 minutes gone and New Zealand have a 3-point lead. The try is not converted. Play is in the New Zealand half. The ball goes out to O'Reilly, he can't take it and the New Zealanders are charging through. No, it's a penalty to the British Isles. The number 8 forward, Fall, takes this one and puts it over. British Isles 3, New Zealand 3 with 17 minutes played in the first half. Hewitt comes charging along with the ball, but Clark gets him round the neck and brings him down. He's only on the ground a few moments and shortly after play restarts, New Zealand are awarded a penalty and a line-out. Don Clark takes this one from 50 yards out. Yes, it's a goal. British Isles 3, New Zealand 6. New Zealand attacks vigorously. Urban gets the ball, dummies it and throws a high pass. Lenine can't pick it up and Price comes through kicking ahead. Don Clark has it. He tries a left-footed potted goal. And it's over. New Zealand has 9 points on the board. For the British Isles, Jeeps has the ball, gives it to Horrocks Taylor. McCulloch downs him. Hewitt has it now. Brown and Meads make short work of him. The New Zealand forwards are proving themselves a tremendous pack. In this game, they're turning on a display of that bustle and drive for which they're renowned. Winneray gets the ball out to Lenine. Lenine to Brown and he kicks the ball ahead. O'Reilly is after McMillan. Scotland has it now and they can't stop Scotland. He takes it down to the 25 and kicks. McCulloch races after the ball. He has it and kicks into touch. Urban puts the ball in for New Zealand. It should be out any minute now. Any minute. Any minute now. The Lions are looking for openings. Jeeps to Horrocks, Sailor to Hewitt. And Hewitt will score. Paul takes the kick. The British Isles are only 1 point behind the home team and there's not much time left for the first spell. The scoreboard doesn't stay this way for long. New Zealand are well and truly on the attack as Meads plummets over the British line. Clark has no trouble with the kick, and at half-time the score is British Isles 8, New Zealand 14. This is proving to be a hard game under hard ground. Even referee Gillies seems glad of a rest. As the second half begins, it's obvious New Zealand are not taking their 8-point lead lightly. By the amount of dust flying, it could well be midsummer instead of midwinter. Early in the piece, the Lions are awarded a penalty, and Fall attempts a kick at goal. This time he's not successful, and Don Clark takes the ball. Clark puts his foot to it, sends a first-class kick almost to halfway. In this movement, slow motion shows the British backline swinging into action. Jeeps has the ball, passes to Horrocks Taylor, who gets it away as McCulloch brings him down. Hewitt has it, thinks he'll run round, then kicks over the assembled heads. Colton and Clark are after the ball, and so is Jackson. The New Zealand winger takes it and ducks Jackson beautifully. Colton moves away upfield and Clark comes in to support him. Price is showing his usual speed, reaches Colton and pulls him into touch. The greater weight of New Zealand's forwards is telling in the scrums, though this one goes to the British Isles. There's a sudden reverse in action and McCulloch is leading the All Blacks into British ground. He gets the ball to Brown, who goes over, but it was a forward pass. No score this time. Pressure is on as Tremaine gets the ball to Brown, who attempts to pot at goal, but it's blocked. McCulloch to Colton, but Jackson takes it and Colton brings him down. Scotland dummies, then passes to Jackson. Jackson breaks through and kicks the ball ahead. It's taken there by Don Clark and he's tackled. Hill picks it up and goes down in a ruck. Today the British backs aren't showing their best form in handling. Urban has it and the ball goes to Clark, who kicks a high one. Diggy Jeeps is waiting for it and kicks across field. Colton goes for it, but Scotland beats him and tries to go through. He's well taken. There are no Lions to pick up the ball, and Winneray moves in smartly and left foot's into touch. The All Blacks are on attack now as Brown kicks high. Owen goes in under the ball. Comes out to Urban, who passes to McCulloch. O'Reilly brings Lenine to the ground. Ken Scotland beats Conway to the ball. He kicks, and the Lions look as if they could penetrate New Zealand's defence. Price has the ball now and kicks to his right. But Colton is ready for it, goes onto his knees to take the ball, races away and kicks into touch. For the Lions, Hewitt kicks and the ball is saved on the line by Colton, whose speed and play delights the crowd. He puts a long one up and follows it. There could be a score here. Jeeps races to stop them. Owen dives over, but he's in touch. The ball goes from Scotland to Jeeps. It's out to Fall, to Hewitt, who loses it. Finds it again. Dummies twice, then makes a break. But Clark is there and they go into touch. Minutes to go and the New Zealanders won't let up. Colton is brought down, Conway has the ball and passes to Meads. Urban is there on the right side of the corner flag. British Isles 8, New Zealand 17, and Urban's try is not converted. Colton and Lenine are pressing hard once more, and Colton tries for the goal line but just can't make it. McCulloch takes it from him and dives over. No, a forward pass. Even the press are excited as with only 2 minutes to play, Colton has the ball. It's a try. Don Clark takes an easy little kick to convert Colton's try, and at game's end the scoreboard reads British Isles 8, New Zealand 22. The crowd at Lancaster Park has seen a mighty match, with no loss of heart by the visitors and brilliant forward play by the All Blacks. New Zealand has won the test rubber in this 1959 international series.
Back in the North Island now, the Lions are on their way to the Bay of Plenty and Rotorua districts for a few days' break between games. In 2 weeks, the tour will be over. Meanwhile, there's still a lot of travelling to be done.
By the moonlight, Raduda, in the evening, Raduda, by the moonlight, Raduda, you can hear those darkies singing, Raduda, in the evening, Raduda, by the moonlight, Raduda, you can hear those banjos ringing. And the old folks would enjoy it. They would sit all night and listen as they sang in the evening by the moonlight Raduda.
30 years ago, these plains were barren. Now they grow the largest man-made forest in the world, and the timber is used for building and paper making. Kawarau, a town that didn't exist 6 years ago, has the country's largest paper mill, and Australia buys much of its products. Malcolm Thomas, who's in the paper business, has brought some of the boys with him for a look-see. Every process has been streamlined, and very few people are needed to run the mill. A hammerhead crane unloads the logging trains in the simplest way possible. It lifts a full truckload of timber at a time. We've seen that New Zealand is mainly an agricultural country, but industries have grown enormously over the last few years. Sightseeing of a different kind is favoured by other members of the team. There are many bush-fringed lakes in the Bay of Plenty and Rotorua districts, and all have a history, kept in old Maori legends. This part of the North Island is rich in Maori lore and folk stories, and the mystic tales the Maoris tell of the history of these thermal regions are often uncannily accurate. Rivers running out from the lakes in this area are chock full of trout, both brown and rainbow. These rather odd goings-on are not a new method of poaching. The Lions are having a day out helping government rangers on one of their periodic fish drives. From time to time, trout are herded upriver, fenced in, and milked of their eggs. After the eggs have hatched, the baby fish are dropped from aircraft into lakes and rivers where the trout population has become too small. And all this is done for the fishermen's benefit. No one knows whether it's the kind treatment the eggs receive while hatching or the stimulation of an aeroplane ride that makes New Zealand trout grow so large and so succulent. Milking is carried out as quickly as possible, and the fish are back in the water before they know what's happened. In the not too distant future, these eggs will no doubt be subjects for fishermen's traditional tall stories. At Waka, a Maori village near Rotorua, Alan Ashcroft gets some exclusive shots as Jeff Butterfield and some of the choir lead off with the Lions' version of a Maori melody.
Nobody else could love you better than I. You pass me by and by.
Rangi, who joined in the boys' song and dance act, is one of Rotorua's best-known people. As chief guide of Waka, she has been hostess to many famous men and women who have toured this fascinating place. Our thermal region brings tourists to New Zealand from all over the world, and our deep-sea fishing brings sportsmen. Here in the Bay of Islands are swordfish, marlin and mako shark, the toughest game fish found anywhere. Fishing in these waters can be the most exciting sport. And that's quite a catch. In 4 days, the Lions tour will be over, and it's in Auckland, New Zealand's largest city, that they'll play the fourth and final test. Sitting by the sea, Auckland enjoys a magnificent harbour, a warm climate, and the nearest thing New Zealand has to a cosmopolitan atmosphere. The townspeople walk a little faster and talk a little faster than people do in other parts of the country, and they still love their football.
What a day for football. For the fourth and final rugby test between New Zealand and the British Isles, the weather is just plain ordinary. Outside Auckland's Eden Park, 60,000 patient people get wetter and wetter, but the rain does let up before the gates are opened. Here they come, and in no time at all, the banks and stands have that lived-in look. The crowd's on its feet as Dawson and Whineray, old friends by now, lead their teams onto the slippery field. There'll be no dust flying today. Referee Murphy holds the kick-off until some Welshman's bunch of leeks is taken down from the goalpost. Ken Scotland kicks off for the Lions and Prosser jumps for the ball. He brings it down, but there'll be a scrum. Scotland's kick didn't travel 10 yards. For New Zealand, Urban has the ball and gives it out to Adrian Clark. He dummies, runs a little way, and the ball goes ahead. The Lions could get it here, but Pickering comes through and kicks into touch. O'Reilly throws in and they jump high. Hill brings the ball down. It comes out to Urban, who kicks. They're after the ball. Conway can't make it. Come back there. It's a penalty to New Zealand. Don Clark puts his boot to the ball, and the first 3 points of the game go to the All Blacks. The British forwards are pushing strongly and showing all the features of a well-knit pack. Play moves across to the grandstand side, and Jackson throws in for the Lions. The ball is taken there by Murphy, gets it away to Mulligan. Jackson has it now and he dummies. He runs through and Irwin brings him down. Morgan is there to pick the ball up, but he can't hold it. Whineray kicks the ball and Murphy has it. Tremaine has Murphy. The whistle goes as Scotland takes the ball. McPhail throws in and the visiting forwards are working hard again. Maybe they've learned something from New Zealand rugby. In any case, they're bustling today. Mulligan has the ball. To Hewitt, to Risman, to Jackson, who fends off Colton and passes to Ken Scotland. Scotland kicks, hoping to find touch, but the ball is taken by Conway. He's dodging the Lions to Colton, and he's bowled over into touch. The forwards fight for possession on this muddy ground. Mulligan to Risman, and he kicks. Harry Davis comes through and gets the ball to Scotland. He passes to Jackson and the winger puts a long one into touch. And now the crowd sees some of the play that's made O'Reilly's reputation. With terrific speed, the Irish wing three-quarter makes a bid for the New Zealand goal line but just can't get there. Again, he's charging in All Black territory. Adrian Clark can't stop him, but O'Reilly has to kick. The Lions are going to cross that goal line come what may. O'Reilly has the ball. He's streaking away. He throws a one-hander to Scotland. They'll never stop now. Jackson has it. He beats McPhail. He beats Urban. Colton won't stop him, and he's scored in the corner. A magnificent try that brings the score to 3-all, and the time is running out in the first half. Jackson's try is not converted. Lenine kicks ahead. Terry Davis slips over. And Colton is making a bid for the line. But Jackson is there and pushes him into touch. The wingers of both teams are running like racehorses. Morgan has the ball from the line out and kicks ahead. Don Clark is waiting for it. Clark goes down and the ball is loose and Scotland comes through. McPhail is after it. He loses possession and Scotland is still running. Mulcahy picks it up and it goes to Hewitt, to O'Reilly. O'Reilly looks for an opening, but there isn't one. McCulloch and Owen bring him down and the ball's in touch. At half-time, the score stands British Isles 3, New Zealand 3. This is proving quite a tussle as we see the Lions fighting for a test victory. The British Isles backs have settled down after an uncertain start, and the forwards could well beat the New Zealand pack at its own game. With 4 minutes gone in the second half, the Lions are in a scoring position as the ball goes out to O'Reilly. He's over. There's no conversion and the British Isles are in the lead by 6 points to 3. A penalty gives Don Clark the chance of gaining another 3 points for New Zealand. And he has them. Level pegging now at 6-all and both teams have the will to win. The All Blacks waste no time in going after another score. They're on attack now as the forwards push the ball ahead. It's near the line and Tremaine slips a tackle to go over. But there'll be no score here, it's a knock-on. The New Zealand backs have it now and the ball goes to Lenine. He's dodging the Lions but Morgan takes it. Conway has it, loses it, and they go down on it. From the ruck it's out to Risman. To Scotland. He passes to Jackson. Jackson gives a little kick and finds touch. The pressure's on as the ball comes out to the British Isles. It's kicked away. Don Clark runs with it. Puts up a high one. Davis takes it and calls for a fair catch. Slow motion now shows Risman at his best. Mulligan sends him the ball. He moves round on the blind side, dodging Meads. He's racing up the line now and they can't stop him. He sidesteps McPhail. Pickering can't catch him. Don Clark will be too late and Risman has scored. What a magnificent try. Risman and O'Reilly have made their names here today. Davis doesn't convert and the score is 9-6 in the Lions' favour as Jackson throws in. Heaney has the ball but not for long. Out along the British backs to Risman who kicks ahead. McPhail and Don Clark are after the ball, so is O'Reilly. Clark takes it and runs behind the posts. He looks for support but has to kick for touches. O'Reilly moves in on it. It's nearly over. The All Blacks need 3 points to draw, but the British defence is solid. The Lions are playing as a fine team in this 25th match of their New Zealand tour. As full-time approaches, the crowd is hoping they'll carry off this game. And now Don Clark has a chance to equalise. No, he hooks the ball. The fourth test has been won by the British Isles by 9 points to 6. O'Reilly is chaired from the field. Today we've seen our visitors gain a well-deserved victory. They finished their tour with a grand win and the Lions banner waves proudly over Eden Park.
So the time has come for parting, and Alan Ashcroft takes this opportunity to find out what makes our camera tick. The Lions, we hope, have had a lot of fun. We've certainly enjoyed their visit. On behalf of the team, Alf Wilson and Ronnie Dawson give a brief impression of the tour.
May I say what a wonderful and memorable tour this has been. And it is very difficult to sum up very briefly some of the impressions that a tour such as this leaves. But I think that the thing that will really live in our memories is this tremendous madness, I might say, that the whole country has for this game. A very pleasant madness.
Another thing that has impressed us has been the great hospitality and kindness of the people of this rugby-loving country. Everywhere we have gone, we have had this hospitality, and also in our games. We have enjoyed them very much. They have been hard fought and played in a very good spirit. We're very pleased, naturally, that we won the 4th test. It gives a wonderful climax to what I hope has been a successful tour.
This tour has meant a great deal to New Zealand rugby and New Zealand rugby enthusiasts. It's our hope that we've been able to give the Lions some new ideas on the game, and we know they've given some to us. More important than that, New Zealand has met a team of sportsmen. Goodbye, you roaring Lions, and thanks for a season of grand rugby.